Hey, how's it going, everybody? I know I haven't done a video in a while, but I wanted to share my opinion review of a show I just saw on Netflix called Love on the Spectrum. And going into this, I was actually a little bit excited. People on the spectrum in love, what problems do they have? How do they overcome them? Things like that. So, me and my wife watched it. And to tell you the truth, I was a little bit disappointed in it. But here's the reason why. It's not that the show is done poorly. What I found disappointing about it was that it's an Australian show, or at least it takes place completely in Australia. And I'm guessing the healthcare system there and the way it works for people on the spectrum and with disabilities is different here because the whole show was about people on the spectrum in love or who are looking for love with people on the spectrum. There was no even consideration as to somebody on the spectrum dating somebody who's not on the spectrum, which was a little bit surprising. I was not expecting that. Um, yeah, that seemed almost segregated in a way that it was just this little group of spectrum people and they weren't at all considering looking outside of it. And I found that a little bit disappointing because I mean, nothing wrong with dating someone on the spectrum, but I found that even though there are difficulties with dating neurotypicals, I'm being married to one, um, they bring something extra to the relationship, something that you could never do as somebody on this with somebody being on the spectrum. There's just certain things you just can't do very well, or things that wouldn't even occur to you that would just naturally occur to them, and it's a nice balance, I think. So yeah, I was just a little bit disappointed with that. As I said, a lot of interesting, different ways people on a spectrum, how they function in the world. But yeah, I didn't like how segregated the show seemed to make people on the spectrum seem. Like I interact mostly with neurotypicals all the time. Um, I'm sure I interact with a few people on the spectrum, but not very much. So yeah, just I don't know. As I said, maybe it's their healthcare system and more community support for disabled or people with neurological disorders, something like that. But yeah, a bit disappointed. And also, I don't know. I didn't feel there was a lot of hope in the show. Like it seemed to be a lot of failures, and not that I mean failures happen all the time, but I just felt sorry for most of the people you were following, and I didn't want to feel sorry for them. I wanted to root for them. I wanted them to persevere. And yeah, I don't know if you guys have ever watched it and you liked it, or maybe I'm missing something, but yeah, I was a bit disappointed with that, how segregated the community was and how they didn't seem to be even trying to push me on. Because that's what I want to know is how, like, ways to improve a relationship with a neurotypical, and that wasn't addressed even in the slightest. So let me know what you think.